For years, Princess Leonor has been preparing for the destiny that awaits her. As the future Queen of Spain, every step of her life has been carefully planned, every public appearance closely watched, and every decision measured against the expectations of the Spanish monarchy. But recently, royal observers have begun asking an intriguing question. Has King Felipe VI placed Princess Leonor in a position where she must make one of the most difficult choices of her life? Not because of conflict, not because of controversy, but because the demands of the crown and the desires of a normal young woman do not always point in the same direction. Today, we're exploring the story behind what many have described as Princess Leonor's impossible royal choice and why the future queen may be facing pressures unlike any previous generation of Spanish royals. From the day she was born on October 31, 2005, Leonor's future was already written in history. As the eldest daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, she became first in line to the Spanish throne. Unlike most children, she did not grow up with unlimited possibilities. Her path was clear. One day, she would become queen. And with that destiny came responsibilities that could never be ignored. King Felipe understood this reality better than anyone. Having spent decades preparing to become king himself, he knows the sacrifices that royal duty demands. He also understands the challenges facing modern monarchies. Public expectations have changed. Citizens expect transparency, responsibility, and leaders who understand contemporary society. As a result, Felipe has reportedly dedicated himself to ensuring that Leonor receives the preparation necessary to secure the future of the Spanish crown. But that preparation comes at a cost. And some believe it has created an impossible balancing act for the young princess. Like many young people her age, Leonor has experienced important moments of personal growth. She studied at UWC Atlantic College in Wales, where she interacted with students from around the world and enjoyed a degree of independence unavailable during her childhood in Spain. For perhaps the first time, she experienced something resembling ordinary student life. She made friends, participated in activities, and gained a glimpse of what life outside royal institutions could feel like. Yet even during that period, she could never completely escape her identity. She remained the future Queen of Spain. And eventually, duty called once again. Following her graduation, King Felipe supported the continuation of a tradition deeply rooted in Spanish royal history. Princess Leonor would begin military training. The decision reflected the path once taken by King Felipe himself. It was intended to prepare her for her future constitutional responsibilities as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. The move earned praise from many Spaniards. They viewed it as a sign of commitment and seriousness. But for Leonor, it represented another major responsibility added to an already demanding life. Military training requires discipline, sacrifice, and dedication. It leaves little room for personal freedom. And while the princess has publicly embraced her duties with professionalism, observers have often wondered about the emotional burden such expectations place on someone so young. Because unlike ordinary young adults, Leonor's choices are never entirely her own. Every major decision carries historical significance. And perhaps that is where the impossible choice begins. On one side stands personal life. The dreams, ambitions, and experiences that every young woman naturally hopes to enjoy. On the other side stands the crown. An institution centuries old, a responsibility that cannot simply be postponed or declined without consequences. King Felipe has repeatedly emphasized the importance of service. Throughout his reign, he has worked to strengthen confidence in the monarchy and modernize the institution. He knows that the future reputation of the royal family depends heavily on Leonor. That reality creates tremendous expectations. Leonor must be educated, prepared, disciplined, and ready to assume responsibilities that may arrive sooner than anyone expects. For King Felipe, these preparations are acts of love and responsibility. He is not simply raising a daughter. He is preparing a future head of state. But from Leonor's perspective, the situation may appear far more complicated. Because preparation often requires sacrifice. Time that could be spent pursuing personal interests becomes dedicated to official duties. Privacy becomes increasingly rare, and ordinary experiences become extraordinary challenges. Imagine being unable to make major decisions without considering how they might affect an entire institution. Imagine knowing that millions of people will analyze your words, your friendships, and your choices. For Princess Leonor, that is everyday life. Royal commentators frequently compare her journey with those of other European heirs. Many future monarchs have struggled to find balance between personal happiness and public responsibility. Some have succeeded, others have faced criticism, and history offers numerous examples of royals forced to place duty above personal desires. King Felipe himself experienced similar pressures during his youth. Before ascending the throne, he spent years preparing for a role that demanded constant discipline. His marriage to Queen Letizia represented a modern chapter for the monarchy, showing that tradition and change could coexist. Perhaps because of his own experiences, Felipe understands the importance of ensuring that Leonor is fully prepared. Yet understanding the necessity of sacrifice does not eliminate its difficulty. One of the greatest challenges facing Leonor is timing. At 20 years old, many young people are still discovering themselves. They are exploring careers, building friendships, dreaming about the future. But Leonor's future has never been uncertain. It has been defined since birth. And while certainty can provide stability, it can also create pressure. Because expectations leave little room for mistakes. Every public appearance becomes a test. Every speech becomes a symbol. Every decision becomes part of a larger narrative. Social media has only intensified these pressures. Previous generations of royals lived under media attention. But today's royals face something entirely different. Information spreads instantly, rumors travel around the world within minutes, and criticism can become relentless. Princess Leonor belongs to a generation raised in the digital age, where privacy is increasingly difficult to maintain. King Felipe recognizes these challenges. His approach has consistently emphasized discipline, discretion, and preparation. He has sought to shield his daughters from unnecessary publicity while ensuring they understand the importance of their roles. But protection has limits. Eventually, every heir must step forward. And Leonor's moment is approaching. Many experts believe she represents the future of the Spanish monarchy. Her image, education, and sense of responsibility have earned admiration both inside and outside Spain. Her speeches have displayed maturity. Her public appearances have demonstrated confidence. And her military training has reinforced perceptions of dedication. Yet beneath those accomplishments remains an important question. What sacrifices are required to maintain such expectations? Can any young person truly balance personal dreams with responsibilities that affect an entire nation? Perhaps that is the impossible choice people are talking about. Not a dramatic confrontation, not a disagreement between father and daughter, but something much deeper. The challenge of choosing, every single day, between ordinary desires and extraordinary duty. In reality, King Felipe has not forced Leonor through harsh commands or impossible demands. Instead, circumstances and history have placed both father and daughter in unique positions. Felipe carries the responsibility of preparing the future queen. Leonor carries the responsibility of becoming her. And neither role comes without sacrifice. Their relationship appears built on respect, trust, and a shared understanding of duty. Still, even the strongest bonds cannot erase the emotional complexity that accompanies such a destiny. Because behind the titles and ceremonies are human beings. A father hoping to protect the institution he represents. And a daughter learning how to carry responsibilities that few people could truly understand. As Spain looks toward the future, expectations surrounding Princess Leonor will only continue to grow. More responsibilities await, more public appearances, more challenges, and inevitably, more difficult choices. But perhaps what makes her story so compelling is not the grandeur of royalty. It is the humanity beneath it. Because everyone, in one way or another, faces moments when duty and personal desires compete. For Princess Leonor, those moments happen on a global stage. And as she continues her journey toward the throne, the world will be watching to see how she navigates the delicate balance between the life she was born into and the life she might have chosen for herself. Only time will reveal how that story unfolds. But one thing is certain. The path to becoming queen has never been simple. And for Princess Leonor, the greatest challenges may still lie ahead.